Hello, this is Mr. Collier, and today we're going to try to make this tessellation with hexagons, squares, and equilateral triangles. So we're going to start with the hexagon, and then make the squares, and then so on, and then make the whole tessellation. So we're going to do that on paper by construction. So we're going to start with the hexagon made inside of a circle. So firstly, I'm going to make a dot for where the center of my circle is going to be. And I measured 3 centimeters for my radius of my circle. Depending on how big you want your tessellation to be, you can use a different measurement. Oops. Okay, so there's my circle in which I'll make the hexagon, which is pretty easy because we use the same distance. We never have to change the distance to make a hexagon. We're going to use this radius distance, and we're going to make a point on the outside of the circle, and we're going to make arcs, and these will be the 6 corners or vertices of the regular hexagon that we are constructing. Okay, so we're going to just connect the dots here now, connect the arc intersections with the sides of the regular hexagon that we're constructing. All these side lengths are equal to the radius of the circle that we started with. That only works for a hexagon. So there's our hexagon. You might want to start erasing these marks here that we don't need. Okay, or later you can color over all of this and not see the pencil marks. So we've got a hexagon, a regular hexagon. Now we're going to make a square on one of the sides. Let's start with this one, I guess. So in order to make a square, we're going to have to make a perpendicular line, a right angle. Actually, I just realized a shortcut here. We don't have to construct a perpendicular line. We can just connect these points right here, and that should make this a perpendicular line when I draw it up here. And when I extend this line, there we go. Now we've got perpendicular lines there. Okay. Okay. So next we're going to have to make sure that this side length is equal to this side length of the square. And again, we just need to use the same distance again because all the distances here are going to be equal to the original radius. So you never need to change the distance on your compass. Okay, if you do that and make those 2 arcs, then you have a square. Okay, so we have our square, and actually we can do the same procedure on every single side. Actually, let me do this first to make it easier, I think. I'm going to make an arc on each point where the square should extend. Okay. Alrighty. When I extend my lines, I know how far to go. Okay, so I've got my ruler here. Connect there and connect there. These are going to be the side lengths of my squares. Okay, so I've got squares on the top and the bottom now. And I forgot one. Let me see. So again, I need the arcs up here and down here. Then when I extend my lines, I can see how far I go. Oops. Do that again. Okay, and over here, again I need some arcs. Okay, just make sure you make a square on each side here. I don't know how far that one goes. Okay. got a total of 6 squares. Okay, total of 6 squares. And in between we should have equilateral triangles. I can actually just connect these lines as well. And I'll get my equilateral triangles. Okay, they might be a little bit off because of measurement error. If your pencil is not sharp enough or you measured wrong, then everything's not going to match perfectly. So you have to be very precise with this stuff. So there we go. That's our base tile for the tessellation. And if we look back at what the tessellation looks like, we're going to have a hexagon and square, and another hexagon is going to be on each of those squares. So let's go ahead and make those hexagons. So I'm going to do that now. Let's do another hexagon. And actually, I don't have much room on this page, so you're going to have to use a bigger piece of paper or a smaller starting distance for your tessellation. So let me show you the procedure now for making a new hexagon up here. I suppose there's a couple ways to do it, but one way we can get the center of the hexagon, that point there. So using our same radius again, okay, that distance there should be the same distance here to the hexagon that we're going to make, to the center of the hexagon. So if I make an arc here and here, then this point of intersection should be the center of the new hexagon we're going to make. So I can start at that point and then draw a circle, always using the same distance as we did originally for our first radius. And now I can do the same procedure on this one. I can make a point. Actually, no, I can't do that. I'm going to start with these points. So it matches up, and then I make my other points of the hexagon. Okay, so we can do that. And it should match up at the end if everything's done accurately. Mine looks pretty good. Now I'm going to have another hexagon here. Okay. There you go, there's another hexagon. You can erase some of those marks that we made earlier. Alright. And then you can do the same procedure and get your squares on the sides here. You can extend the lines here. Actually, yeah, we can just do that. We can extend the lines here. And then using the same distance, always the same distance with my compass, I can measure off the ends of those squares there. And then I can make my square. And then I can do the same thing over here. Okay, at this point, if you already know how to finish the tessellation, you can stop watching the podcast and keep going by yourself and just keep making the tessellation. You can make it as big as you want and as colorful as you want. So to really show the different shapes, actually, you may want to color them different colors or make some other design inside this hexagon or something. Maybe you want to make the hexagons green, the squares orange, or maybe alternate colors of the squares or something like that. But when you color it, it really shows all the different shapes that are in the tessellation. So, and it makes it look a lot nicer. So that's just my 2-second coloring job, but you can make it nice and pretty yourself and make it a lot bigger with lots of different colors, and you have a wonderful design.